5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. I woke up this morning. That's right. I love Monday mornings. You heard it, folks. I love Monday mornings. Woke up this morning, 3 a.m. Pow on the dot. That's right. 5 minutes before my friend Coach Isaac woke up this morning, ran downstairs quickly because I was excited to get into today. Ran downstairs quickly, grabbed my hashtag Rise and Grind planner. Boom. Grab my planner. At the top of every page of the Rise and Grind planner, there's a quote submitted by an actual Rise and Grind member. It's my favorite part of the planner, which the new ones will be coming out soon, Black Friday. Unless you're at the event, you can get them early. But I popped it open, and there was a quote contributed by Christine Casey. And Casey's quote was very simple. And so we're going to start today off with this very simple quote for you. Make time every morning for yourself. If I had a mic, I'd just drop it. Make time every morning for yourself. I don't care what you got going on in your life. I don't care if you got 8 kids. I don't care if you're traveling around the world. I don't care if you're broke, you're destitute, you're depressed, you're anxious, or you're joyful, you're glad, you're filled with purpose and wealth and success. Either way, it don't matter. Make time every morning for yourself. Nobody told you this when you were young. They told you you're being selfish. They told you to focus on everybody else. And I'm just here telling you, you cannot pour from an empty cup. Make time every morning for yourself. We're going to make some time for you right now here on hashtag Rise and Grind today. So let's go ahead and dive in today's episode of hashtag Rise and Grind. Thanks, Christine. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. How are you, my friend? How are you, my friend? See, there's no excuse for you not pushing yourself to the next level. In order for you to create a new you must have a new mindset. When teams come together, we can create things that are greater than the sum of all of their parts. Good morning and welcome to hashtag Rise and Grind. I am your host, Glenn Lundy. I am a husband to 1, a father to 8, and the creator of what is going to be the #1 most watched morning show in the world. It is 5:30 a.m. and I hope that you are ready to rise and grind. Good morning, good morning, good morning. How are you, my friend? How are you, my friend? Dude, today is Monday. That's right. Today is Monday, October 4th, 2021. And what's crazy is today is the very first and the very last time it'll ever be Monday, October 4th, 2021. So I want to make sure we make the absolute most, and I do mean the absolute most of this absolutely incredible day. Listen, I hope that you had an amazing weekend. As a matter of fact, go ahead and drop it in the comments if you're there on Facebook or you're over on Instagram. I want to know what you did this weekend. I hope you had an amazing weekend. I hope you had a phenomenal weekend. I hope you had one of those over the top, memorable, beyond belief type weekends. That's what I hope that you had in your world, and I would love to hear what your weekends looked like. My Facebook is acting crazy, so I can't see yours. I'm going to try to find that, but that's not a surprise. Facebook's acting crazy on me. We had a great weekend at the Lundys. We definitely had a great weekend. My wife, she had 14. Yeah, you heard it. My wife had 14. McGinia was in Albania. That's awesome. Claudette had a good weekend. My wife had 14 tweens. Is that what you call them? Like kids between age 11, like 11 and 12, right? Like 11 and 12-year-old girls. She had 14 of them. at the house, because my daughter Savannah had like a little sleepover thing. So they're not quite teenagers yet. I guess they're called tweens or whatever. But she had 14, 12-year-olds. Can you believe that? Got rid of all the other kids. She sent them off. She kind of had people having sleepovers over here and there, except for the little one, of course, Caroline. So she had the 14 tweens, then she had Caroline. I think she might have had Oakland too, or 2-year-old. That's what she did this weekend. I don't know. She says it was a great weekend. I wasn't really there because I went to Nashville, Tennessee with my daughter, Willow. And Willow and I had a blast. We went to Nashville, Tennessee. We went to Opryland. I don't know if you've ever had a chance to go to that hotel resort. It is unbelievable. There's nothing like it. And so we drove down to Nashville. It's about 3.5 hours. Went to Opryland. And to be honest with you, it was I've been doing one-on-ones with each of my kids, and I let them pick wherever they want to go for their trip. And so I've been going Disneyland, Universal Studios, going to SeaWorld here in a couple weeks. And when my daughter chose Nashville, I was like, okay, cool. Nashville, I don't have to pay for plane tickets. We'll stay at Opryland. We're just going to do that like water park thing, right? We'll do the water park thing. It's not too expensive. I thought I was getting off cheap on this trip. Yeah. Nope. No way whatsoever. So we did the water park, which was great. My daughter got to swim with her, in her mind, a real life mermaid, right? It was magical. She was swimming around the lazy river with this woman that dresses up. I talked to this woman's husband, and he was like, man, this is my wife's dream job. She literally like is a mermaid for a living. That's what she does. And so she was swimming around with the mermaids, which was amazing. And I figured we'd do the water park, we'd do the hotel. It wouldn't be too bad. But then, Willow wanted to add on. She said, okay, well, we're going to do some trick-or-treating, because they were doing some trick-or-treating at the park. And so we did a little bit of that, which is trick-or-treating. That was fun. And that was cool. That wasn't cheap. But then she took me shopping. She was like, we got to go to the mall. So we went to the mall and we went shopping. And I got to tell you, this girl's got a very expensive taste. She kept going into Kate Spade and all these other places. I was like, nah, girl, that ain't happening. And then she wanted to ride the robots. So we rode the robots that were there. And then she wanted to go to a movie. So we went to a movie that was there. Y'all know how expensive movies can be. And then we played arcade games, spent a couple $100 in the arcade, right? And then candy. She wanted more candy, so there was lots of candy. We went to Madame Tussauds, the wax museum, which was absolutely phenomenal. And then at some point she was like, candy. And so I had to get her some more candy. And I just got to tell you, man, this little girl kept me on my toes the entire time. It was like going from one thing to another. And what's crazy, man, is this little girl is so observant. Each of these trips, I've learned so much about my kids. She's so observant. She pays attention to everything. She was even asking me questions in the car. She was like, Daddy, I noticed that a lot of places seem to be having now hiring signs. Why is it that everywhere is hiring? Right? She's just observant and she's very curious. And she asks these questions that you wouldn't expect to get out of a 7-year-old little girl, right? She's brilliant, IQ through the roof. And she is attracted to so many different and unique things. It's what I really love about Willow is she's not into foo-foo. She's not foo-foo rainbows, butterflies. She's not that type of little girl. She could do those things. She likes an occasional unicorn. She's got some Crocs that are tie-dye. She can do some color. But if you ask her favorite color, she'll tell you her favorite color is black. And when we were at the place, she really liked, she would see a pirate and she'd be like, I'm all about the pirate, right? We did this virtual roller coaster thing, and we did one with aliens, and she was like, that was okay. And then we did one called Carnival that had all these scary clowns, and she was like, that's what's up, right? She's into that kind of stuff. We saw a witch standing by the river, one of the witches there for the Halloween thing. And she was like, ooh, a witch. And we ran over there, and she was listening. And I said, are you going to go talk to the witch? And she goes, nah, that's a good witch. Those are no fun. Right? And I was like, girl, you're crazy. She didn't want nothing to do with the witch because it was the good witch. She only wanted to see a bad witch. Right? But it's crazy. She's really an amazing kid. She's incredibly grateful. This is what I took away. She was incredibly grateful for every experience. And yet at the same time, she was ready to move on. Does that make sense? Like, grateful, present, I'm right here at the water park. But at the same time, she was ready for, like, what's next? But it wasn't like ADD type what's next. It's not like she couldn't focus or couldn't be present. She was 100% present in everything that we did. But at the same time, she was ready to move on at the snap, of a finger. You know what I'm saying? It was incredibly phenomenal and powerful to watch. And she was incredibly polite. She's super well-mannered. She has a strong heart and a passionate curiosity. And so this morning, as I was thinking about her and I was thinking about the weekend, I thought, if I were to describe Willow in a poem, I would say this. This is what I would say. This is how I would describe her as a poem. A mold unlike any other, a generational misfit, a beautiful array of intelligence and the wisdom of an old soul, a splash of rebel, a pinch of sass. She is the girl that will never be forgotten. Speaking of poems, this week, I love to read. I love poems. I love books. I read my automotive magazines to stay in the know. You name it. I love to read. And I love to read often, right? There is so much knowledge to be gained through the power of words. And so this week, I'm going to share with you some of the knowledge I've gained through different books. And we're gonna crack this series open, a series this week. And the series is simply titled Books. That is the name of the series. Nothing fancy. All right. It's a book. It's a series titled Books. But before we go too far, y'all know what we gotta do on this show. We gotta do some dancing, folks. Let's go. Come on. Get a move. We're gonna mix it up on the music a little bit this week. All right. We're gonna mix it up a little bit on the music this week. Come on. Can y'all dig that? I can dig that. Let me know if it's too loud anywhere. If you can't hear me, you should be able to hear me. But listen, for those of you that know, don't know, this is the part of the show where I need you to hit that share button. That's right. I need you to hit that share button because I believe if we can change the way people start their day, it'll make a massive impact on this planet. I truly believe that. And sometimes all it takes to change the way somebody starts their day is for you to hit that share button. If you're on Clubhouse, hit the plus sign. If you're on Facebook or Instagram, share it out. This is also the part of the show where I want to say good morning to you. I want you to say good morning to me. Whether you're watching live or you're watching on replay, say what's up. I'll say what's up back. Fair enough? Fair enough. You people on Instagram can't hear the music. You're probably like, this dude's crazy. And that's okay. What's up, Ann Farrell? Great to see you. How you doing, Michael O'Brien? Appreciate you. Love the topic of books. Yeah, let's dive in, bro. What's up, Jacket, NOTG? I see Alloy Artist. I see Migana. Over on Clubhouse, I got Sarah and Ramon and Dr. Rowe. I see Amanda and Tamara, TM and Justin. I see Renee and Dr. Nadia, Dora, Maria, Bernita, Dakota. I see Pam and Jackie and Katie and Megan and Christina. I also see Maureen is in the house. I see The Blind Master and Wendy and Trust and Dean and Tony Mo and Tina and Scott and the Doctor. I see Curtis, the fastest man in the world, is in the building. I see Solana and Janice and Todd. I see Liza Myers, Workers. What's up, Linda? How you doing, Nikki? How you doing, Kate? I see Tony's up in here. And Rocky, my girl Rocky, the Instagram master, is in the building. I also see John Gayheimer's here this morning. What's up, Evan, Frank, Thomas, Marilyn Wilkins, Gwen Mays. Good morning, John Gayheimer. Good morning, Don Sankey. Good morning, Spencer Nicholson. Good morning, Amy Kennedy. Good morning, Nathaniel Banks. You guys are talking so fast over here, I can barely see any of them. Good morning, Jamin Newhoff. Good morning, Marcus Ellis. What's up, Whitney Wells? How you doing, Jody Tibbs? Vicky Everett. Good morning. What's up, Jojo Laricia? What's up, Leisha Watts? How you doing, Terry LaPierre? Janelle Griego? Julie Lentini. Oh my goodness, everybody's with me here this morning on hashtag Rise and Grind. I love it. We only got 25 episodes left, folks. 25 episodes left of hashtag Rise and Grind. And we're going to be celebrating the 1,000th episode of hashtag Rise and Grind. We're going to be celebrating that in Lexington, Kentucky, November 5th. All right? The 1,000th episode. We're going to do it live. You can come join me. You can be a part of the live studio audience. We're going to send this sucker off in style. So come join me. After we celebrate that 1,000th episode, I've called all my friends that speak around the world, those that entertain, my musician friends. We've called everybody and said, hey, let's throw a big old party in Lexington, Kentucky, for God's sake. And they all said yes, and they're all going to be there. We had a big meeting last night. It was going to be incredible. And I want you to join us there as well. So if you haven't got your tickets yet, go to growforgod.com. That's right, go to growforgod.com and join me and all my friends in Lexington, Kentucky as we celebrate this momentous occasion, the end of an era and the beginning of something new. With that, let's kick off this series, Books. So the earliest writing discovered by man is titled The Epic of Gilgamesh. And the Epic of Gilgamesh is a mythologized account of a historic figure called Gilgamesh, clearly, right? And Gilgamesh was a ruler around 2500 BC. And this story of Gilgamesh was written on clay tablets. Now, these clay tablets obviously weren't very portable, at the time, and they were quite fragile, right? Enough rain would wash them away. If you were to drop them, they'd break apart. But even though they were fragile and definitely not portable, they were a modern marvel at the time, right? Think about this ability to, in the written language, be able to pass on a story, right? To be able to leave behind a story for someone that won't even live in the same time, right? Like, you're going to die, you're going to pass away, you're going to move to what's next, and here they are coming behind you. Like, how incredibly impactful is that, right? So for the first time, they were able to capture a story in a way that can be handed down from generation to generation. I find that absolutely fascinating. Now, fast forward to a little over 3,000 years ago, fast forward to a little over 3,000 years from then, from that very first clay printing, 3,000 years later, 3,300 roughly to be exact, we're going to, which takes us to 868 AD, okay? 868 after death. There was a Buddhist book from Dunhuang, China, called the Diamond Sutra. So the Diamond Sutra popped up, and this was created by a method called block printing. And block printing used panels of hand-carved wood blocks in reverse, right? So in China, you know what Chinese language looks like. I'm assuming you know what it looks like. And it's usually different like characters and pictures and so on and so forth. So they would hand carve these things in reverse into a wooden block. And then they would take their inks, press the paper, the parchment paper on top of the blocks, and created this first paper book. Light, easy to travel. They rolled it into like a little scroll, and they were able to pass their words and their stories in this incredible, incredible way, right? Now, this method later became the inspiration for the printing press, which is ultimately what blew up books for us as far as technology goes. But I just want you to think and imagine what a modern marvel that was, right? To hand carve, and think about the work that it took to hand carve each character so that they could then tell these stories, right? Unbelievable. Unbelievable the energy and effort people went through to be able to pass down stories from one to another. Now, fast forward, and there are now, according to Google, this is an actual number, there are 129,864,880 published known books in the world. Now, as they broke down this number, they did not include multiple volumes of like scholastic things. If something had multiple volumes, they just counted it as one, etc., etc. But with that said, there are exactly, Google says, 129,864,880 published books in the world, including ones by many of our Breakfast with Champions people. Like, we have a bunch of Breakfast with Champions people that have books, right? I know my man Ramon's got a book up there in the corner. Bunch of them, right? Bunch of Breakfast with Champions people have books, including our friend Tamara Andress, who just released her book and recently went #1 bestseller in 9 different categories across Amazon, which is amazing. Congratulations, Tamara Andress, on that. She is our most recent best-selling author. We have many in the Breakfast with Champions group. She is our most recent. Her book is titled Always Becoming, and so you got to go check that out if you haven't. But that is one of the 129,864,880 books that are out there. Now, of these books, the Bible is #1 of all time, 3.6 billion copies. The Quran comes in #2. But if you were to leave off or take out, the religious or theological type books, you would get an incredible list of the top 5 books of all time. #1 is a book called Don Quixote by Miguel de Cervantes. And this book has sold 500 million copies, which is insane. The second would be a book called A Tale of Two Cities, written by Charles Dickens. And this book has 200 million sold copies out there in the world. #3 of our top 5 is a book called Lord of the Rings by J.R.R. Tolkien, with 150 million copies sold. #4 is a book that you might have remembered from your childhood. It's a book called The Little Prince by Antoine de Saint-Exupéry. His name is hard for me to say. Antoine de Saint-Exupéry. A book called The Little Prince with 142 million copies sold. And rounding off our top 5 is Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone with 107 million copies sold. Now, if we go to a series, Harry Potter leads the world. They've sold 700 million copies of their series. The second best-selling series, I'm so embarrassed to even say this out loud, America, world, what is wrong with you? The second best-selling series of all time is the Twilight Saga. Good for them. I mean, good for them. Wow. Unbelievable. But yeah, the Twilight Saga, #2 in the series. Now, those books I just read off, Don Quixote, A Tale of Two Cities, Lord of the Rings, The Little Prince, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. My question I have for you is, what do they all have in common? And if you really think about it, it comes down to 2 things. They all come from a place of wild imagination, right? Wild imagination. And then they also have something called the hero's journey. Now, the hero's journey, if you've never heard of it, the hero's journey is a 12-step process that most amazing stories in real life, as well as in book form, are attached to. Now, this hero's journey was written by a guy named Joseph Campbell, and basically he breaks down that there are 12 stages to the hero's journey, and I'm going to share those 12 stages with you right now.
What do Harry Potter, Katniss Everdeen, and Frodo all have in common with the heroes of ancient myths? What if I told you they are all variants of the same hero? Do you believe that? Joseph Campbell did. He studied myths from all over the world and published a book called The Hero with a Thousand Faces, retelling dozens of stories and explaining how each represents the monomyth or hero's journey. So, what is the hero's journey? Think of it as a cycle. The journey begins and ends in the hero's ordinary world, but the quest passes through an unfamiliar, special world. Along the way, there are some key events. Think about your favorite book or movie. Does it follow this pattern? Status quo, that's where we start. 1 o'clock, call to adventure. The hero receives a mysterious message, an invitation, a challenge. 2 o'clock, assistance. The hero needs some help, probably from someone older, wiser. 3 o'clock, departure. The hero crosses the threshold from his normal, safe home and enters the special world and adventure. We're not in Kansas anymore. 4 o'clock, trials. Being a hero is hard work. Our hero solves a riddle, slays a monster, escapes from a trap. 5 o'clock, approach. It's time to face the biggest ordeal, the hero's worst fear. 6 o'clock, crisis. This is the hero's darkest hour. He faces death and possibly even dies, only to be reborn. 7 o'clock, treasure. As a result, the hero claims some treasure, special recognition, or power. 8 o'clock, result. This can vary between stories. Do the monsters bow down before the hero, or do they chase him as he flees from the special world? 9 o'clock, return. After all that adventure, the hero returns to his ordinary world. 10 o'clock, new life. This quest has changed the hero. He has outgrown his old life. 11 o'clock, resolution. All the tangled plot lines get straightened out. 12 o'clock, status quo, but upgraded to a new level. Nothing is quite the same once you're a hero. Many popular books and movies follow this ancient formula pretty closely. But let's see how well The Hunger Games fits the hero's journey template. When does Katniss Everdeen hear a call to adventure that gets the story moving? When her sister's name is called from the lottery. How about assistance? Is anyone going to help her on her adventure? Hey, Mitch. What about departure? Does she leave her ordinary world? She gets on a train to the capital. Okay, so you get the idea. What do you have in common with Harry Potter, Katniss Everdeen, and Frodo?
Pretty amazing, right? Pretty amazing. So see, your life is supposed to be a series of heroes' journeys, each one leading up to the next one. A process that we go through as we continue to explore this amazing thing called life and figuring out what it means to us, figuring out what the best version of ourselves looks like. Constantly leveling up in an epic series of events, right? That's what your life is supposed to look like. That's how the greatest stories are told. Now, regretfully, sometimes we get so stuck in that middle part, right? Where we're going through the trials, we're trying to slay the monsters. And I think that sometimes we can forget that it's all part of what's next. You see, my daughter Willow totally gets this. She 100% can be present and be grateful for the experience that she's in. And at the same time, she's prepared for what's next. She holds no grudge. She holds no, there's no, it's instant forgiveness. She doesn't ever dwell on where she is because she understands it's a part of the journey to get to what's next. You see, friends, there's a hero that exists inside you. It's part of your DNA. You see, I believe, you and I are children of God, the God of the universe, the God that made everything, the ultimate hero, the ultimate hero's journey. If you think back to the journey of Jesus, it starts mundane and ordinary. And then there's a series of events and stories and all of the challenges ultimately that this hero has to face, ultimately ending in his death on the cross. And then there's the resurrection, which is the new resolution. He's now leveled up. He's now more than a man. And he's taken upon him his reward, or I should say, our reward, is that he's taken upon him the things that keep us from spending eternity in heaven, right? Epic. And that is your Father, right? Your Father is the God of the universe, the God that made everything. And so in you is this hero. And you too will continue to go through this hero's journey. And I highly suggest that you go grab Joseph Campbell's book, The Man of 1,000 Different Faces, I believe is the title. Go grab his book, learn about this journey, figure out where you are in the journey so that you can know what to expect next. Listen, friends, this is going to be a fun week. We're going to dive into the different books and different strategies and different takeaways. We're going to talk about this a little bit more over on Clubhouse right now, so you're welcome to come join me over there if you want. I hope you'll stick around. We got 24 more episodes of hashtag Rise and Grind. But with that, go out there and be a hero today, and I'll see you again tomorrow morning, 5:30 a.m., because we're going to do this all over again on hashtag Rise and Grind. Have an incredible day.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Stay woke, stay woke, stay woke, stay woke. Hashtag rise and grind, hashtag rise and grind. First thing on my mind, early in the morning time. Daily motivation, feeling so divine. Waking up the nation, hashtag rise and grind. Hashtag rise and grind, grind, grind. Hashtag rise and grind, grind, grind. Hashtag rise and grind, grind, grind. Hashtag rise and grind. First thing on my mind, early in the morning time. Daily motivation, feeling so divine. Waking up the nation, hashtag rise and grind. Hashtag rise and grind. Don't stop, get it, get it. Hashtag rise and grind. Stop, get it, get it. Waking up the nation, hashtag rise and grind. Waking up the nation, hashtag rise and grind. Good morning. On my feet before the sunrise. Stepped into my greatness, feeling powerful and energized. Thankful to be alive. Hashtag blessed. Write my mission, vision, values, and my gratitude list. I'm building up momentum. I'm making good decisions. I rise, I grind, I get it. Ain't no doubt that I'm